Franny.
And this is Heidi.
And this is our 4th International Coffee and Cars. So we have a great lineup for you. I think we have like 9 cars or something.
We do. We have 9 cars.
Yeah, we have a great mix of different cars.
And we'll give you the link if you want to send in your car for the next month.
Right. So that's going to be at the end. We'll put it up here for you. And what are you drinking tonight, Heidi?
So I'm drinking decaf because once again we're filming at night. And this one is called, it's got a funny name. It's called Ground Gorilla Decaf.
Okay, so Ground Gorilla. So how's that? Does it taste like hair and a little bit kind of funky?
No.
No? It's not too bad?
No.
There might be a certain somebody in Connecticut area that might be a little upset about ground up gorillas.
Yeah. Maybe so. I don't know. I'm not really sure what to think about that.
All right, so why don't we get started? Heidi's going to start with our first submission.
So our first submission comes from David from North Carolina. David has a 2007 Corvette. It's his 5th Corvette. He purchased his first Corvette in 1989, and it was a 76 that was in pretty bad shape. He soon learned some valuable lessons from the car, primarily through to buy the best car you can afford and not the cheapest one.
That is totally, so that's totally really true for pretty much every car. Yeah, you always want to buy the best one you can afford.
The second Corvette was a 1978 silver anniversary model. The car had about 65,000 miles on it, but was close to perfect.
Wow.
He drove it on weekends and to car shows. While he had a 1978, he also bought his 3rd Corvette, a 2004 C4. It was in good shape, but not a show car. David loved driving it anywhere. In the year 2000, he then purchased a 97 C5 Corvette. Up to the C5, 5th generation, Corvettes seemed to have more maintenance issues, but Chevrolet really got it right with the C5.
Oh, yay.
He remembers taking off work for a day and driving for 5 hours, a 10-hour road trip, and then to the coast just to have a cup of crab soup and then a drive home. That sounds really good.
That does actually sound super fun.
The destination was not important. It was the journey. It was the drive. Yeah, he needs to do a video on that if he does that again.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
The 2007 Corvette that David has now is a C6, the 6th generation, and has a 400 horsepower LS2 engine, 2 tops, clear and painted, and will still get 30 plus miles per gallon on the highway if you drive it sanely. What happens if you don't drive it sanely?
Well, I'm guessing a little less than 30, a little more like the way you drive, I'm thinking.
It could be a show car, but he just likes to drive it. It's probably time for some more crab soup. So in this picture, the car is Victory Red. It has black leather interior, glass top, and as he said before, it has the painted fiberglass top. It has 56,000 miles on it, and it rides better and gets better gas mileage than his Porsche Cayman or his Miata.
Wow.
It's also faster if measured a quarter mile at a time. This car is also perfect inside out. He did a pre-purchase inspection, and lift undercarriage is perfect. The car has been garaged its entire life.
Wow. Yeah, it's really pretty too. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow, what a neat car.
He sent lots of photos to go with it.
Yay.
Gorilla.
Gorillas. Yummy. They smell like gorillas from here too. A little hint of
Franny, not a big fan of coffee. Yeah. So what's next?
Well, next we have Alex from Murrieta, I think it is, California, Southern California. His car is a 1963 T6B 356. So Alex has owned this car for 39 years. He bought it from the original owner back in 1980. And used as a daily driver for 10 years. So that's really common. I mean, in fact, our 356 up here was also used as a daily driver.
It was. Originally. My great uncle drove it around for 17 years.
That's super common with these cars. So then he says it's an all-matching car, and this is also not very common for these cars. He says it has no rust. He did a complete overhaul on the engine in 1992 from top to bottom. And he says another thing that's incredibly unusual about it is that it never leaks oil. He maintained the original 6-volt electrical system on the car. So good man on that.
Originality.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I did a couple of mods that we did as well.
Yep.
So we installed an ignition switch relay, which I talked to from 356 Electric, so that's Joe Leone's shop, and I talked to Joe about that, and he said, you know, those things can pull almost close to 40 amps, the latch current on the solenoid. So it's a huge amount of power. It's very short, but it's a lot of power to go through the ignition switch, and that trashes them out over 60 years. So the relay takes all that power out of it, which is great. He also put in a relay for the headlights as well, and we did that too.
Right.
And it doubled for us, and he said it pretty much tripled the amount of light he got out of the lights.
Yeah, and if you want to see, we actually did a small little short interview with Joe Leone. It's back a ways, I don't know, about a year ago maybe. So if you want to know who Joe Leone is, we did an interview with him, and it's on our channel.
So we'll put a little guy up at the top here. You can check that out.
Right.
And then I also did a video on installing that little relay for the ignition switch
that's
too.
right,
So
you did.
So I'll throw that up there as well if you want to check that out.
Right.
Another thing Alex added to his car was the LED taillights from CU Layer. So if you've got a 356 or you're thinking about one of these, and it has the teardrop taillights, so that would be the T2A cars, about 58, like Ava, on up through the rest of the 356s. Those things are amazing, stupid bright.
Yeah, we've had lots of people that have 356s that don't have them, and they're like, oh, I got to get some of those. And they're not cheap, but they're not expensive either.
Exactly.
I think they're, you know, for safety reasons, it's probably
totally
worth it. But I think they were a couple $100. I don't really remember.
Like that. But it was for both of them.
Yeah.
And they're just a drop in. You just pull the bulbs out, and it's a whole big circuit board. It sort of drops in and connects to the two.
Right.
So you've got brake lights and turn signals, and they work great. He also added LEDs to his instrument lights as well, which will really brighten those things up.
We have not done that.
Yeah, they're like 1 watt or 3 watt bulbs, and then they've got a bunch of crap on them. So
another video.
So at any rate, he also installed a 2.5 pound Holland fire extinguisher in his car by the steering column, and that's a great place for it. Actually, it's totally right where you need it if there's any issues.
Right.
And I know
ours is behind the seat.
Ours is behind the seat, so you have to reach back there and grab it.
Right. It's installed too.
But you've got the fuel cock that you need to turn off anyway, so it's a good thing it's right by the fuel cock, so it reminds you to turn that off. So that's great. He also put 3-point retractable seat belts in. He also liked to add some original equipment that was available in 1963 as well, like the 128 Hella fog lamps.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool with the original switch and such. And then he already had the Reuter's luggage rack, and the stone guards over the lights, I believe. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And so that's pretty cool. But he also added a Bear fresh air blower, an original dash controller for that. Now those things are rare in hen's teeth, and it's a really cool option. So he has the original radio, Blaupunk T Series T Frankfurt radio. I think that's very similar to what we have in Ava. And he has the original 5-inch sort of round speaker grills that Ava has on both sides.
Right.
And he says it's just been an awesome car. He has a couple of other Porsches that he loved, and he's always loved Porsche since he was a kid. And he would consider himself a bit of a hoarder, but he's going to pass his passion on to his grandson. So
yeah,
that's
he's
really
got a
cool.
picture of him with his grandson. So,
yeah, I think that's really
his
neat.
Grandson, yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, beautiful, beautiful car. Thank you for your submission.
Yeah,
and,
nice cars.
Looks like you've got it at shows and all sorts of stuff too. So that's really cool.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. So what do we have next?
Tim from Foster City, California.
Ooh.
Tim has a 1969 Porsche 912. It was the last year of the 912, only year of LWB.
Long wheel.
Oh, yeah. I knew that. Sure. I knew that. Not counting the 1976 912E. Okay. His car is 720cc with the Solex carbs.
The P40s, yeah.
He's got Solex carbs. Yeah. So, and that's, you kind of jumped the gun.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, the P40s.
It's 5-speed, light ivory. It has staggered cookie cutter rims and original red interior with the old school burlap horsehair smell.
Yes.
So very similar to a Volkswagen Beetle. He's owned the 912 for 7 years after purchasing the car from a friend who owned it for 27 years. It had an engine fire under his ownership.
Oh, bummers.
He bought and repaired the wiring. He also repainted left quarter panel from fire damage. He rebuilt brake system and suspension to Euro height. It's a fun driving car that often gets mistaken for its big brother, the 911. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, they look just like him. They really do.
Right. The last photo was at North and GGB at Airhead Parts Treffen border. Oh, to border tour. Cool.
How fun is that?
Yep. That's really it. Short and sweet.
So it's a beautiful car.
Right,
it really is. And I love the 912s. They basically have the highest power 356 engine that came out. And Porsche did that, I think, to kind of keep the cost down and stuff. But they were such a sort of a neglected car for a long time. And now they're very popular and very hip. So.
Well, and I think what happened was in 1965, it was the last year of the 356, they came out with the 911 in that year as well. And it was like twice as much money.
Yeah, it was pretty darn
expensive.
expensive.
I know a lot of people that were really used to having Porsches, they bummed about it. And I think that, Porsche got an earful about it. And so they came up with this compromise of a 912, which has really been a great car. I mean, we have some friends that have the 912, and I mean, it's sort of like carrying the 356 line on a bit. In fact, a lot of people that had 356s, if something happened with their engine, they would go to the 912, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is.
It's a neat car. It really is. It has a very different sound than a 911, but it's a very cool car. So, yay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for your submission.
All right. So next we have Alan from Toronto, Canada. He has a 996 that he bought. It's a 1999 all-wheel drive, so it'd be a C4. He has 22,000 kilometers on this car. 222,000. So about 135,000 miles. He bought it 5 years ago, and it's been well maintained throughout its life. And so he has a winter home in Arizona, so he drives it there each fall and then back.
The cactuses.
Yeah, the cactage.
The cacti. Is it cacti?
Cacti. And then back in the spring, and that's a 3,000 kilometer trip each way, about 1,800 miles. So that, in these cars, if you've ever driven one of these cars, just even the base 996, it is an amazing car to drive. And I just think that, sometimes they get some crap for the headlights. I know our car does as well. And it's just ridiculous.
I never understood that.
I don't get it either.
I love the headlights.
They're amazing cars. And yeah?
People
so
just don't know what's hip.
Well,
it's actually they don't know what's hip.
No, they're silly.
Sorry.
So these are great cars.
They don't like the headlights too bad.
Oh, they're great.
They're missing
fast,
out.
And they handle well, and they do really, really well. So totally cool cars. It is his daily driver and hopes to pass over 500,000 kilometers with it.
He'll get there.
Yeah, there are some close to 1 million kilometer cars, so that's pretty cool. So he has one photo here of the car in Arizona, and then another one with his son, which is really kind of neat, before they hit the road to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
How fun.
In Cleveland. And
love road trips.
another one of his car at a Porsche club lunch. So yeah, a little Boxster in front of it. Another looks like maybe a C4 ahead of that cab.
Yeah.
And, so that's always fun.
Love events like that.
It's great. It's great to be able to get with all the Porsche people in your area and go to all these events and stuff. And people are just the nicest people. So
they are. I really like those kind of events.
So and he's saying that, he says that as well. His Porsche Club in the Upper Canada chapter has wonderful people, many activities throughout the year, includes fun runs, driver educations, and monthly socials. So I would totally, absolutely encourage you to, if, people say, oh, I just don't have the money for one of those cars. The 996s are on sale. So get the IMS dealt with, and it's a wonderful car, and it'll open up the doors to all the different groups. Well, it could have a rear main seal
as well.
Well, yeah. To get that sort of stuff, you probably need to put a clutch in it anyway, so get that done. And the car's bulletproof after that. And super duper fun.
They're great cars. Really great cars.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Alan, for that. That was awesome. So what you got?
Okay, so I have to tell you, this person, his name is Freerk. He's from the Netherlands. And Freerk, I went to Google and I had played 3 different ways to pronounce your name. So I'm doing the best I can, and hopefully I got it right this time. You can make fun of me if not. So Freerk had always wanted to drive the overseas highway and visit Ernest Hemingway's house in Key West. He wanted a car to be an American convertible with an automatic gearbox. He said he can shift his own gears, but since he was in the U.S., he wanted to try to fit in. Yeah, it's pretty sad, but I think most of the cars in this country now are pretty much automatics.
So a little bit about this road.
Right.
Okay, so this is Key West. It's in Florida.
Franny's territory.
Yeah, so I grew up in Naples. So Key West is directly south across the Gulf. And the next bit of land you hit is Key West. Well, there's a really, really super long road, and it's mostly bridge. It's amazing. It's a really cool road to drive. It's usually filled with campers, caravans, and stuff. So the
turtles.
Turtles. So the speeds may not be very fast, but it's great scenery. You get to see it's kind of like being on a boat.
I haven't done it. It's actually a really cool trip that he did. I'd like to do that. I've flown into Key West, but and flown out. But I haven't done that. I thought that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
So he asked for a Mustang or similar and got a brand new Camero with the now Camaros are nice. Isn't that what Hammond or someone who was driving the latest Grand Tour with a base 4-cylinder engine and base trim level, maybe one level above. You know, rental cars a lot of times are just kind of bare essentials. The car had only covered 360 miles. Well, it's in the Key West area. Well, and so he easily doubled it in one day that he had rented it to drive. He had a short break in conk key. Conk.
Yep.
Like a conk.
Yeah.
It sounds
named
kind
after
of funny.
the big shell.
Like getting conked on the head. Conk
kind
key.
of, yeah.
The perspective from inside needs some getting used to. He didn't dare drive too close to the curb, but always left it a few feet away just to be on the safe side.
It is a little hard. Visibility is kind of weird in that car.
Yeah, it was nice and cozy and a bit plasticky in appearance. This is where he returned the car. It shows a picture of it in the garage. He said he developed a soft spot for it. The Camaro is about $33,000 in the United States. By the time it makes it into his country, get this, it's 2.5 times that, which puts the car in stiff competition in Europe, which is why you hardly see them over there.
Holy cow.
So he said he made this trip in January. And what a creative thing to do is, you know, you got your photos, you went on a trip, you don't really have anything to submit. And I think I commend you for submitting this and doing something creative. I mean, we love interesting stories, and it's definitely sounds like a fun route and everything else. Yeah. So thank you. So what do we have next?
We have next, this is Andrew in Farmington, Connecticut. Andrew has a 2012 Carrera S in black on black. So it's really a neat car.
Kind of hard to tell that in that photo.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So he bought the car a couple of years ago when he wanted a fun car, but he also needed a back seat for his son.
Right.
Since that, he's been to numerous car shows and also a trunk and treat. So
trunk and treat.
Yeah, that would be like a Halloween
that. That sounds cool.
So he and his son dressed up like the Batmobile, but sadly, they didn't win. And you know what? You were robbed. That is awesome. You guys look great.
You are totally robbed. And you know what? You're on our channel now, so let's all give him a hand for that. That's great.
Look at the wings in the back and everything. That's really
It's got
cool.
Little bats on the
wheel covers and stuff. It's awesome.
Great.
No, that's great.
I hate being robbed.
I know.
So,
his son is now 6 and has caught the car bug and enjoys spotting fun cars and always loves to ID the Porsches. That's really great fun. And so he also has one final picture here at one of the car meets, and I was like, I recognize this guy who kind of looks a little like Captain Kirk. That's Mike Brewer, and that's from
Wheeler Dealers.
Wheeler Dealers.
That's a fun show.
It's a really fun show. We used to watch it back. We don't really have TV anymore, but we used to watch it back in the day with Ed China and stuff. So that's really neat. You got to hang out with Mike. That's so awesome.
Yeah, really.
Wow,
that's neat.
Really
and
cool.
I was like, that isn't him. And then I looked at the little logo, and it said Mike Brewer Motors.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Franny was right.
Yay. So thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much for submitting your car. That was great. And yes, you were totally robbed. That was awesome. You did.
Right.
That was great.
So Tammy is from New Mexico. She has a 1963 356B coupe, so another 356. The last time Tammy drove this lovely lady was in 1982. The car was purchased 1978-ish and was in dire need of a restoration. Tammy's father thought this would be a good car for Tammy to drive to high school. I think it was high school, maybe it was college. After a bad rear end accident in 82, ooh, and that's probably not so great because like they don't unless you had the option to have the rests, the seat rests and stuff, not so great to get rear-ended.
Well, no, and not so great for the car either.
And so the 356 was put out to pasture. And it sat until 2015, so that was just 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
So Dad passed over the poor little car in the 90s, and she sat in the dirt until they were able to finally get her in for full restoration. Well, fortunately, you were in New Mexico. Now, New Mexico does get some snow, but at least it didn't like
dry.
Completely rust out or something like, yeah. So after 3.5 years of blood, sweat, and tears, here is the Green Queen again.
Yay!
So Tammy's dad still drives his 68 912. So another 912 too. And he's had that since 1976. They have a beautiful family Porsche reunion this year in October, and the beat goes on.
Yay!
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. Wow, it turned out great too.
Right. Look at that red and green.
Yes.
That's very cool. Thank you for submitting your story, Tammy, and really nice to hear from you.
Yeah,
that's really great.
Really fun. How's your ground gorilla?
Ground gorilla is
it pretty good?
Yeah, the ground gorilla is good.
Sorry, Nick.
Sorry, Nick. He used to say that. Sorry, Nick. Sorry, Nick.
Sorry, Nick. Our next submission is from Patrick from Atlanta, Georgia, and he has a 2008 Elise. Oh, look at that.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Out with a bunch of other Elises. So our friend Doug had a lease before he got his Noble.
It sounds like Elise.
Had a lease.
A lease.
I guess you could lease a lease.
Elise. Right. Yeah.
I always think it's funny about Lotus, Lodi, or Lotage, or whatever you want to say. They always start with an E, it seems like.
Are those all Lotus?
Yeah, they're all Lotus.
Yeah.
I think so.
Is that, that's a good point. Is it Lodi?
Lotage.
That would be a Franny word.
Anyway, so...
Just like Porsches.
The Elise itself was sold between 2005 and 2011. And according to our friend Doug, the reason they couldn't sell it anymore was an airbag issue on the car. So, they couldn't get it federalized because of an airbag issue.
Didn't know that.
And they were I think they were moving on anyways, but that was it. They're built around an aluminum monocoque chassis and powered by a 1.8 liter engine from the Toyota. I think it's the same engine that was in the MR2.
I think so.
Yeah, with variable valve timing and variable lift and stuff, and the heads were designed by Yamaha. It's an exotic car looks and reliability of a Toyota, Patrick says. He says it's the best kept secret in the sports car world, and they really are cool.
And you get so much attention in these cars. I mean, I've been in Doug's car when he had it a couple of times, and the heads that car turns, it's one of those ones that really makes you feel like you're prom queen or something.
So Patrick's car is a special edition built for the U.S. market for the 2008 model year. And there are a total of 50 made, 25 being red and the other 25 being yellow.
That's
maybe that's what we're seeing here are the same edition cars because yellow and red. That's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. It's called the edition is called the California. So, and what makes it kind of unique is that the front grille is silver, and the body color sides and the rear louvers and the interior. So there's a few different changes and little bits on the car. That's kind of neat. The interiors include full carpeting, leather trim seals, and seats borrowed from an Exige, and a beige magnolia flocked dash. So flocking, I didn't know what this word meant until I just watched a Sarah and Toon video, and she's gonna flock the dash on her car. And I didn't know what it was, but she went through she was talking all about it. So it's this stuff that you kind of spray on the dash, and it kills the sunlight so that there's no reflection. So for rally cars and things like that, that's what it's for.
Yeah, when they do the lighter color interiors and they start to make the dash match the interior, it's so bad.
Yeah, so you can kind of see it. It's got a beige. It's got a beige.
They want to do that so that you don't have that reflection. That makes sense.
But it's been flocked, so that makes it very flat. So that doesn't. Yeah, I didn't know. I just learned that today. So
I actually didn't know there was a way to deal with that. Which is
that
great.
Kind of neat. Oh wow, look at that interior! Holy cow! Wow, that is really pretty. So the intent
beautiful car.
He says the intent with the California was to make a car a bit more luxurious and comfortable than the regular cars, including carpeted floor mats, a large portion of because the older ones, and Doug's was like this too. It just had, like you said, carpeted floor mats and a large portion of aluminum monocoque.
I remember a lot of aluminum inside of it.
Yeah, it looked pretty kit car-y, you know. So this is nice. No, it did. It did look kind of kit car-y because it had all that exposed bit. But this is really awesome. That's really pretty.
It's very beautiful.
So Patrick has both the hard top and the soft tops for the car. Normally runs the hard top from November to April, and then the soft top for the remaining warm months. And it just takes a second to remove. I remember Doug doing it too. It's just this little thing, and it fits in the trunk. So pretty easy to deal with. His car is his daily driver, he says, to and from work, running errands, dropping kids off from school and everything.
But that's true with Doug, too.
Yeah, Doug
used it all the time.
It's surprisingly versatile, usable, with that Toyota engine. You know when you get in there. On the weekends, Patrick says that he enjoys connecting with other Lodi and sports car enthusiasts for spirited drives through North Carolina and the mountains and the Tail of the Dragon.
Yeah, you could see that in that one photo.
Yeah, so we've heard that Tail of the Dragon thing. That would
we need to go there, have a meetup or something.
So he says using it daily, of course. He gets stopped a lot by people wondering what it is and guess that it's a Ferrari. It kind of looks like a Ferrari, I think, in some ways.
Yeah,
and
maybe,
looks like a small 355 in some ways. Or some type of other Italian exotic. They're pretty surprised, I think, to find out that it's powered by a Toyota. But that's one of the neat things about the Lotus. It's just
it's just gorgeous.
They're just totally usable, great fun, and just beautiful cars.
That was on the Dragon run, I bet.
Yeah, look at that. Thanks so much, Patrick. Thanks for your submission. That's a beautiful car.
This is from Wesley from Quincy, Illinois. The car Wesley submitted is his 1968 Volkswagen Beetle. He has not gotten too far along with the restoration since he's only had it for roughly 6 months. It's really pretty color.
It is a cool color, though. I like that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
His plans are to get it back to as original as possible. Once he gets further along, perhaps he will resubmit it to show what has been done.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, please do. That'd be great.
We would definitely like to see progress.
Yeah, absolutely.
As far as he can remember, he has wanted a Volkswagen Beetle. Doesn't it? I think everybody kind of goes through that, or maybe at least if you're a car person, maybe.
Yep, absolutely.
Growing up, he was and still is a Herbie the Love Bug fan. When he finally purchased one 6 months ago, it was a dream come true for Wesley.
Oh, that's awesome.
I used to watch Herbie the Love Bug.
Yeah.
That's really fun. Wesley says that it's that he's not really a car guy by any means, so he's learning on the car. And luckily, it seems that this car is a good one to learn. Yeah,
we do obviously have a couple of videos on the Beetle, too. So.
He has named his Beetle Yondu.
Yondu.
Nice. Wesley does not plan to ever sell it and has intended to slowly make it into his daily driver. Good for you. Yeah, I see some on the road still.
I used them as daily drivers for years and years,
absolutely.
So they're totally capable.
It's hard not to smile when you're driving these little cars, and it runs very nicely for its age. Yeah. It's wonderful. It looks great.
Yeah, it does.
This picture of the motor. And
yeah, look at that. So, look at that.
Nice.
Original air cleaner.
Well, congratulations on your purchase. Yeah. You haven't had it for very long. And so, yeah, if you make changes or end up, I don't know what the original color was, if it was that color.
Although that metallic-y blue is really a pretty color, I think.
It's pretty, but if he's trying to bring it back to original, he may not keep it at that. So, understood.
Awesome.
Right.
Well, they're super easy to work on. I think you're going to have a great time with it. Yeah. So, and a great car to learn on and learn about cars. So that's great. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, congrats on that.
Well, you guys, thanks again for your submissions. It's always fun to hear from you, and I feel like I have a chance to see you since you see us, and so it's really nice to get your submissions and kind of live vicariously through you and your cars. So please feel free to submit it to info@HeidiandFranny'sGarage.com. I'm going to be working on the website again real soon, so there will at some point be an email list, and hopefully we'll get that up and rolling. And Franny wants to start writing some articles for the website. So for those of you who have stayed in tune for this long, she'll start putting maybe some articles out there for you to check out as well.
Yeah.
And then also one other thing, some people didn't realize that we have a post office box. So unfortunately, don't remember the number off the top of my head. So there's the P.O. box.
And you want to send us whatever.
Yeah, decaf coffee. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I know that some of you have asked if we have a mailing address.
Yeah. So we get that question now and then.
Right.
But so this was a great spread of cars. Thank you so much. Keep the submissions coming in.
Absolutely. I mean, submit something while you think about it. I sometimes send reminders out, but sometimes I get enough, and I think I already have a couple more for next month. So couldn't get everybody in there. So definitely make sure that you submit them.
So, and this is the first Sunday. It's always the first Sunday of the month. So for our coffee and cars,
we better make it by the first Sunday.
Yeah. So we have to actually film a week out. So we can edit and all that. So try to get your submissions in before the last week.
It'll be the day after Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Just whenever. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for watching, and of course, a special thank you as always to our Patreon supporters.
Right. Thank you very much.
And all right, so we got lots more videos coming up. We got the videos on this crazy thing here next to us, the i8, and everybody else.
And we have some classic car material coming up.
We do.
I know that some of you guys are clamoring and have been upset about the newer cars. We still have some older classic material coming up.
We have some suspension work on the Ferrari, and then the 3.2 Carrera needs some stuff, and all the cars, they always need something. So, all right, well, thanks again. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, safe travels.
Bye.